Our guest tonight is Lucha Underground announcer and international wrestling star Vampiro. How you doing, man?
Well, I'm not an international wrestling star, but I'm fine. Thanks.
You sure are an international wrestling star. Listen, I talk you up because honestly, we are fans, truly, and that's why we say that.
Oh, thanks.
Yes, yes. Well, listen.
Okay.
Get ready for that. We'll just blow smoke up your ass all night. That's what we do, okay? Just get ready for
Sure.
it. well,
All right.
while many wrestling fans know you from your time in the ring, you are now the lead color commentator on Lucha Underground every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on the El Rey Network. As someone who gets to sit front row for all the action, what has it been like seeing the growth of Lucha Underground, and what are your expectations for Ultima Lucha on August 5th?
Well, I would like to just to say hello first of all, and say thanks for having me on the show. And real quick, man, I'm not the lead anything. You know what I mean? I'm a part of a phenomenal team, and you know my partner Matt Stryker kind of carries the ball a lot more than I do. So I'm just glad to be there. Sometimes it's really frustrating for me watching it because it's just so exciting. I wish I could still be in there, right? But it's pretty awesome. It's a whole new experience for me, and it's crazy because the talent, the phenomenal athleticism of the guys, the way the crowd reacts, just the whole vibe. I've been around the wrestling business since 1984, and I've never seen anything as cool, as smooth as this is flowing. I really think it's just scratching the surface of what's about to come. I think it's only going to grow. Just the whole concept of the way to do the TV show, the way they're taking a break, the way they do all these kind of things. That's never been done, and you know very well, at this stage in the game, it's really hard to do something new in the wrestling business that's going to catch a fan's eye and also bring new people into the game. So I think Lucha Underground is breaking ground, but we won't know what the impact of that is because it's just starting, man. So I think a tidal wave is on its way.
Now, how about Ultimate Lucha? We think of pay-per-views in the traditional sense as wrestling fans, but Ultimate Lucha seems to be almost the culmination of a season of wrestling. So what are fans in store for this event?
Devastation. It was a wild night, man. How much do you know about it? What happened that night?
I personally was spoiled to some things. We have avoided spoilers for every single episode, sans some effing radio show that I listened to that spoiled the last Ultima Lucha 4 matches for me. Everybody else on the show does not know, and we do not spoil anything on this show because I'll tell you the. Well, I'll tell you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Look, man. I've been around wrestling since 1984, and I've seen it done quite a bit in different countries and been involved in some pretty big things. That was a pretty insane night. For me personally, I would say that would be the top of the game. That would be number one. For the fans, holy shit. That was the first time that you could actually feel a building shake from the response of the fans. It was pretty intense.
Mike Chiori?
Yeah, well, Lucha Underground, it's really kind of taken the wrestling world by storm, I think. And there's a lot of fans that are sitting on pins and needles waiting for a definitive announcement with regard to a second season and when that might happen. So I was wondering, what are your impressions of how things are progressing on that front? And what's your confidence level that a second season is in fact going to happen?
Well, I think, you know, I don't know who listens to this show, and that's not being rude. What I mean is my response is going to be pretty straight in your face. Wrestling people are, and I mean behind the camera, whether it be talent, wrestlers or just people in the office or whatever, are a pretty paranoid, insecure group. And pins and needles and gossip and paranoia, that's unfortunately a part of the game. And I mean, it's he said, she said, oh my God, you did this, you better watch out, you're going to get heat, that kind of thing. It's like, fucking relax, dude. I've never seen any dressing room, any office, any staff, any writers, any camera people. This is just such a fucking cool thing. And it's so innovative to do it in the season style, you know what I mean? What other wrestling company takes a break when they're at their peak. This has never been done before. So how cool is that? Then, if you were an investor, and just look at it like this, if you were an investor, it don't matter if you're a fucking billionaire, dude. If you had 28 or 38 $million invested in something, would you do that just because you're a fucking wrestling fan? Or would you do that because straight up you have a 7 to 12 year plan that you know that's going to school it? I think that I would pretty much vote for the 7 to 12 year plan. I think guys with $28 million have got better things to do than just throw it away because they want to see a couple of guys take bumps, right? That's just me, though. So my confidence is pretty high is what I'm trying to say.
That makes us happy. Vampiro, where did you draw the inspiration from to create the Vampiro character?
It was kind of like the mid-'80s, and I had always been a fan of the book Dracula. I liked the character. I liked the fact that this guy was somebody different, and just because he was misunderstood, people treated him different. I think there was a huge thing in my life where I was a bigger guy when I was younger, and I just was, and when I was growing up in my hometown, I was one of the only kids who was into alternative music and all this kind of stuff. So I always kind of felt like an outsider, but I was really passionate about life, this, that, the other thing. If you read the book Dracula and you really see things from his point of view, that was kind of my superhero back then. Everybody was into comics or sports or whatever, but that was one of the guys I identified with. When I was living in LA in the mid-'80s, the Anne Rice books came out, LA Guns came out, Faster Pussycat, Guns N' Roses was just starting. That scene of the dirty leather jackets with studs, and I was coming out of hardcore punk music, and that whole street vibe, the Lost Boys movie was hitting, and just that whole vampire culture and the whole LA street culture at that time was just kind of taking off, and I was right there, right in the middle of it. And they had this book, it was not Interview with the Vampire, it was The Vampire Lestat. And I was reading about this guy, this vampire who was a street musician, and he was a street performer, and he was telling everybody who he was, and he was really rebellious. I absolutely fell in love with that character, and that is exactly where the Vampiro character came from.
Awesome. Listen, speaking of Vampiro and you being in WCW, as a matter of fact, I'm a huge WCW mark, unabashed, I don't care. You were one of the best parts of the latter years of that company. From memorable feuds with Sting and Eddie Guerrero to tag team championship win with the Great Muta, you had many moments that I'll never forget. What are your fondest memories of WCW, and what was it like being there as the company was beginning to see the final days of its existence?
I don't have anything good to say, unfortunately. I wish I did. I was recently married at the time, and I had just, I made it. I got to the big leagues, right? And I was a kid from a small town, and I'd been through hardships in my life, and I finally made it. And I really felt in my heart and soul that was the biggest mistake in my career, was going to WCW, because I was right at the point of being in my peak. I was still an innovator. I was hungry. I think I could have been somebody. I had the chance to go to All Japan and make a career there. I had already been to Japan for a lot of years because of my time in Mexico. But something was telling me, try the American style. And I went there, and I got to tell you, man, the fans were cool, but it was probably the most depressing moment of my life. That kind of ruined the business for me. I've never been happy in wrestling since. Just the drama, the bullshit, the lies, the manipulation, the abuse. It was a horrible, horrible experience. The only highlight I would say, there was probably two of them, right? One was obviously the cool relationship that the Vampiro character still has to this day with the fans who remember me from that. And the other one was doing when I got the championship out with the Great Muta, who was probably my hero in wrestling. So that was it, man. Everything else was just fucking brutal. I hate it. I regret it. I wish it didn't happen. I really think that was what ruined my career.
And now I feel terrible for even bringing it up. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
So we try to tell him all the time about
That's all right.
WCW. He doesn't listen.
I'm sorry. Now I
Look,
feel like
man,
a dickhead.
it was a great thing. It could have been better, but they just didn't get me, and I was ahead of my time. I really believe that, and I was in the wrong place. That these guys were all really old school people at the time. That whole Carolina vibe, you know what I mean? And I was this punk rock kid, and I had this thing and this vision, and I was really, and they were like, you got to be a heel. And I said, I'm fucking telling you guys, let me go and you will see. And when they started to, they were like, wow, the people really like you. And I said, yeah, well, duh. And they were like, oh, well, you're Mexican. And I was like, no, you fucking guys, I've been doing this for 18 years, and I'm Canadian. I've been everywhere. Give me a chance. I really hated it. I don't have anything good to say about it.
Mike Chiari?
Well, yeah, switching gears back to the greatness that is.
That's not true. The other thing that I'm sorry to cut you off, bro.
No, it's
the other
fine.
good thing out of that is I really enjoyed my time learning and making a friend out of Terry Taylor. That person really helped me a lot, and because of my time with him, I'm able to do what I am today, doing behind the scenes with the younger guys.
Mike Chiari?
Oh, yeah, well, switching gears back to Lucha Underground. For us, one of our favorite parts about the commentary is your constant disdain for Conan. And now I understand there is, or at least maybe there was, some real-life heat between you guys stemming from your time in Mexico. And I was just wondering, for those who are unaware of the situation, what did your issues stem from? And also, how would you describe your relationship with Conan currently?
When we were younger, we were both in our early mid-20s. We were real young. I'm not sure how much people know about that time, but when we were wrestling back then, it was Beatlemania. It was Mexico at that time in the early 90s was total chaos, rock star. There used to be maybe between 50 and 60 shows a week, every week, sometimes 4 and 5 and 6 shows a day. And in my case, thank God, the majority of those shows were attended by really, really young, beautiful women, which was not a problem in my book. But there was a lot of guys who didn't like Conan and myself, and they tried to pit us against each other, and just this stupidity. And it did get really bad. I will say this, I have said it, he took it a lot more personal and serious than I did. He hated me. I disliked him. We talked about it in WCW. We squared it up. We bumped heads a few times, but we made a promise to each other back then that we wouldn't let other people infiltrate and provoke that hatred to come out again, because it was pretty bad. And we're not best friends. We don't go to the movies together, but we're definitely cool with each other. And every time I go off on him, well, I would say about 90% of the time that I go off on him on TV, I ask his permission first. I say, hey, man, this is what's going to happen. And, if he's not cool with it, he'll tell me, and I won't do it. But I always ask permission.
BG?
It's called out of respect, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
But in saying that, if he's listening, fuck Conan.
He's not going to listen.
No, great.
Did you clear that with him?
No, you can suck my dick.
Yo, Vampiro, we've really enjoyed your backstage interviews with the Lucha Underground superstars, and we're also a fan of the work that Conan has done as a manager overall. Was there any thought into you being a manager instead of a commentator for Lucha Underground, or perhaps even wrestling regularly?
I really like the interview thing. I kind of came up with that idea because I really love being behind the desk, and I'm telling you, man, there's just a connection with Matt Stryker that I'm able to do what I do because Matt's really meticulous, and he's a pro, and I have enough confidence just to go out there and wing it thanks to his professionalism. And I saw that I kind of got something going, you know what I mean? Like I feel like, wow, I got a second life. And I asked them, I said, hey, listen, you remember Piper's Pit and all that kind of stuff? Can we kind of update that? Because I said, I feel I have more to give. And I'm just so energetic and I just got so much to say. Let me try this. And they just let me go. And I kind of just make those interviews up on the spot, and they come out pretty good, apparently.
They're always awesome. That's one of the highlights of the show for us. Well, okay, let's also mention, he mentioned getting back in the ring possibly. When Pentagon Jr. and Sexy Star had an issue, you got involved. Last week on the show, Pentagon Jr. came to you, called you out, put his hands on you. We have seen you get flustered, but you haven't acted upon that. Can the fans expect you to, if he gets in your face again, are you going to act upon that? Are you going to defend yourself? Are you going to fight in the ring again?
I don't know. Maybe. Yes, no. But I want to, yeah. I don't know, dude. Probably. I mean, why not?
I don't know what to make of that answer. I don't want you to spoil anything for sure, but I just want to know, because
he didn't spoil anything, so
that's true. You did not spoil anything.
Well,
So good.
I kind of feel. I mean, I should, and I shouldn't. Physically, I'm not in the best shape. I got a lot of injuries, and my health isn't the greatest. I had some hard times but I'm good now. And I part of me says I didn't get to finish my career the way I wanted to. And the other part of me says, don't go in there because of your ego, because you'll fuck the product up. And not a lot of guys have that mentality, right? But I don't know, dude. Fuck, I don't know, man. It depends. Give me some Jägermeister, I'll do
it. for the record, we'd like to see you fight Pentagon Jr. We think it'd be awesome. But Mike Chiari? Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah, well, you just mentioned you're not sure if you would want to ever wrestle a match again, but, you carved out a great career for yourself, both in the United States and Mexico, and I was wondering if you were to ever have, a proper retirement match, where would you want it to be? Who would you like to face? What type of stipulation would you like to have? Have you ever thought about something, of that nature?
Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know, dude. I'm more of a music. I'm so into music, you know what I mean? And I got that rock and roll thing in me, Like I grew up from the first generation of the punk rock movement, and I can't fuck. Like look at Lemmy and Motorhead. Here's an example. There's no way he should be touring the world, but fuck, he's Lemmy, man. I just feel the same. It's like, will Vampiro ever go away? I can't. It's like, this is what I do, and I've tried other things, and there's a lot of great things happening. I got a lot of TV work, and I have my gym, and I'm doing all this stuff with the Guardian Angels and all that. But the harder I try to get away from being Vampiro, I can't, because it's who I am, and fuck, in or out of the ring, dude, it's either going to go down, right?
It's true. BG?
Vampiro, you were one of the few stars I enjoyed seeing in WCW, but I always wanted to see you work with WWE. Is there any particular reason you never joined them?
Yeah, because they didn't want me. That's it, man.
That hurts.
They said, not really, dude. They said, first of all, I ain't no superstar, brother. You got to remember, man, wrestlers are full of shit, so don't let those fucking egomaniacs think they're more special than they are. I don't think I would have went, because you kind of got to sign your persona away, and I worked too hard to make Vampiro. I made a living off of Vampiro. I bought my mom a house. I have a beautiful daughter that lives with me. I'm a single dad. I have a social life because of Vampiro. A lot of people like Vampiro. Vampiro was inspirational for people. I couldn't see me just giving that away just because I was in the WWE. And they're a great product and good for them, and they're fucking awesome. But at the same time, I don't think they would have got me, because when WCW folded, they said they basically fired me. They said, we don't got there's nothing we can do with you. We don't see how creative can come up with something for you. I laughed and I was like, all right, see ya. That was that.
That's awful. Listen, okay, let's change gears one more time here. When I first saw Lucha Underground, I immediately thought about Wrestling Society X. I was one of those kids who was younger and saw MTV and saw that and was like, wow, what is this? You, along with many other Lucha Underground wrestlers, made that show a cult sensation in a very short time. How do you feel about the comparisons between Lucha and WSX, and what are some of the improvements that maybe fans who love that show behind the scenes, what are some of the differences?
Oh man, well, you ain't got enough time. Look, that MTV thing was an awesome idea, and that was Kevin Kleinrock's baby, and that was his dream. And you know what? He put his heart and soul into it. I think it was a great idea. I think it was I think it was ahead of its time, and I don't think it was. It had the right people. I'm not speaking bad about Kevin. I don't think it had enough of the right people in charge. It wasn't run right. The management wasn't run right. And I think it was on the wrong network, for sure. And because unfortunately, MTV was changing program directors at the time, and they just didn't see how we fit in. They wanted to do that Teen Mom thing and all that New Jersey stuff, and we just didn't make the cut. I think it was ahead of its time, and it was on the wrong network. But you can't even compare it. You can't do it. That's like saying if I had sushi at McDonald's, I went to fucking Japan. I mean, Lucha Underground is, come on, man. That's Burnett. That's Robert Rodriguez. I mean, that's forget about it, man.
Well, wait,
what the fuck are you talking about?
As soon as I tuned,
that's like Justin Bieber and fucking the Rolling Stones. I mean, how are you going to compare that?
Now I sound like a complete asshole. Thank you, but no. When I first saw it, I saw the band playing, and that was something that was in Wrestling Society X. There was a lot of the same guys. Like we got Jack Evans now, and Mil Muertes was there at the time, and and it was what we were looking for at that time in the mid-2000s, even the early 2000s, was just the alternative. Without WCW there, we were reaching for anything, something different. And I feel like it may have taken longer, but Lucha Underground has really found the niche just because, like, it's people looking for that alternative. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know more than I do.
I do not. I do not.
I wouldn't.
With all due respect, he knows nothing.
Listen, man, I wouldn't watch wrestling if you fucking paid me. I can't watch this shit. It drives me insane. And even though it's something I've done for 33 years, I don't watch it, So you guys, I'm assuming that people are wanting something new. I mean, you look at WWE, it's like McDonald's. You go in, you know what you're going to get. You can go to France and McDonald's, it's a fucking hamburger. There's no change. It is what it is. Here, this is like a buffet, and you make your own plate, so every day it's a different deal. So, of course, it's more attractive, right? So I think it's like WWE is like going to grade school and then you go to high school, but Lucha Underground is like when you're finally free and you can do what you want, right? That's the way I would compare it. As far as a fan, Lucha Underground is fucking dope, man. And it's just different because the talent is allowed to have their input. Although we do have agents and writers and creators and producers and all that bullshit, just like WWE, if the talent says they can do something or they have an idea or they want to express themselves physically or athletically, they're allowed to do that. And plus the staff we have, the camera crews, behind the scenes, just the people running the show, man, they're just so much more hip. They're just so much more laid back. And they don't give a fuck about the politics. You're not allowed to be a dick. There ain't no drama. You just got to be cool because the people are cool, man. You get treated cool, do your job, just fucking put your head down, go out there and blow the roof off. And that's what we're allowed to do. And it's fun as fuck. And you guys are getting the benefit of that.
It's such a refreshing mindset, honestly, in the business because it wasn't like that for a very long time.
It's still not like that.
It's still, but it's changing thanks to the Lucha Underground.
Ask any one of the motherfuckers who's WWE. Ask anyone. Ask anyone. Of course, if those bastards are making $10 and $12 million, they're pretty fucking happy. Ask everybody else who makes $75,000 a year, got to pay their own expenses, don't see their wife or kid, on the verge of divorce, and all fucked up on pain pills. Ask them if they're having a good time.
It's true. It's very
Did I
true.
just say that?
Yeah, you did. You know, it's okay. That's all right. Like they said, no one will listen to this anyway.
What are you gonna do? Find me?
A huge thanks.
Suspend me?
That wouldn't be good.
I don't get to be on WrestleMania.
Oh no. A huge thanks to Lucha Underground star Vampiro for coming on the show. Catch him every single week, every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. on the El Rey Network. Tell the fans where they can support you, man.
Don't support me, man. Support the product, brother. Never focus on one guy. The mission is a long-term goal, man. Just stick together as a family. Do the right thing. Support the product. Forget about me.
Not even on Twitter? You don't even want people to follow you on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter, man, but like I said, dude, follow the product, man. We need love. Give love.
Hey,
Be yourself. I'm on Twitter, Vampiro. What's that fucking underscore Vampiro? Yeah, and I answer everybody almost, but I don't even pay attention to that shit, dude. I answer almost everybody, but I'm telling you, man, I ain't a superstar, and I hate that bullshit. Support the product. We are a team, and you are part of that team. So just be cool, dude, and enjoy it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Vampiro.
Thanks for fucking me up for 3 weeks and giving me the wrong dates and time. It's been a pleasure.